Hey guys, Patrick McGinnis here. I lead the Celebrate Recovery Ministry at University of Carolina as well as men's ministry. You know, I wasn't always a Christian, but since I fell in love with Jesus 15 years ago now, I've also really fallen in love with Advent. You know, it's a season where we're invited to slow down and pay attention to the story behind Christmas. Not just the gifts and the music and all the lights and stuff, but the why of it all. And today we're going to build on the story that Michael and Pastor Jamie started and dig a little further into the Advent scriptures. And today we're going to get into Luke 1, 57 to 66 and John 1, 6 to 8. Here we go. When it was time for Elizabeth to have her baby, she gave birth to a son. Her neighbors and relatives heard that the Lord had shown her great mercy, and they shared her joy. On the 8th day they came to circumcise the child, and they were going to name him after his father Zechariah. But his mother spoke up and said, "No, he is to be called John." They said to her, "There is no one among your relatives who has that name." Then they made signs to his father to find out what he would like to name the child. Remember, he was stricken dumb. He couldn't speak in Pastor Jamie's readings yesterday. So they asked him what he would like to name the child. And to everyone's astonishment, he wrote, "His name is John." Immediately his mouth was opened and his tongue set free, and he began to speak, praising God. All the neighbors were filled with awe, and throughout the hill country of Judea, people were talking about all these things. Everyone who heard this wonderful news wondered about it, asking, "What then is this child going to be?" For the Lord's hand was with him. And then we go on into John here. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify concerning that light, so that through him all might believe. He himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light. So in that first reading today, Luke 1, 57 to 66, we meet a baby who isn't Jesus, but his story points straight to Jesus. His name was John, and his birth was a miracle. You see, his parents, Elizabeth and Zechariah, they were way too old to have kids, and yet God himself steps in, and he says, "I'm doing something new." And as the scripture tells us, the people around John could already tell the Lord's hand was with him. John grows up to become John the Baptist, the guy who prepares the way for Jesus. And that's exactly what the second of today's reading tells us in John 1, 6 to 8. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify concerning the light. He himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to the light. So think about that for